Mary-Louise, thanks so much for your time, as always. I do want to talk first about this man from Nevada that apparently got COVID twice. So his second infection is even more severe than the previous one. How concerning is this?
It's very concerning. However, there are so many things that we still don't know. So he's one of four that appear to be reinfected. All four were young. Sadly, only two of them had a test done, antibody test done after they got better. With their first infection. So we don't know whether they truly cleared the infection. However, there were so many days that have passed, somewhere between 63 and over 3 months between the four of them, that when they got the second infection, that it is highly suggestive that it is a reinfection. There's a test called a CT, or cycle threshold, that measures an idea of how infectious you are. Most of those four cases had levels that suggested they were not highly infectious. However, again, that could be because the person taking the nasal swab didn't do a very good job. And so we really do need a better standardization of taking antibody tests after somebody improves and is supposedly uninfectious, so we can see whether or not they're actually developing antibodies. But the antibody that we really do need to understand is anti-spike, because that will protect people from a second infection. And most people will be worried, does this mean that if you get a vaccine, will you need to have several different types of vaccines, because are there slightly different genomic variants? And most of the experts say no, one vaccine should cover all. It may have to be seasonal, but it may not need to be very different for the slightly different genomic
Right.
variations.
Right, and when it comes to vaccines, I mean, drug maker Johnson & Johnson is pausing its clinical trial. They didn't give much information about what actually happened. They say it's a normal thing to happen during an experimental trials, but does this mean we are further away from having one, like from one vaccine?
Yeah. I can understand people's concerns, but Johnson and Johnson are doing exactly what they're supposed to do in phase 3 trials, where they trial it in tens of thousands of people, and they stop it when there's something called a serious adverse event, an SAD. And we've seen a previous trial by another group also stop theirs because there was a neurological problem, but they restarted it within about 5 days. So there shouldn't be too much of a delay, but they just put a pause on it to see whether or not this is related to the active arm, that vaccine arm, or and the other arm, the placebo arm. And so I would expect us to have to wait at the most maybe a week. So it shouldn't put that final, hopefully, vaccine in the marketplace off track yet.
Okay, Mary-Louise McLaws, thanks so much for that. She's an advisor to the WHO, live for us from Sydney.